great. Then I kind of know where we can go. Okay. All right, so we're going to start in a seated position. And for the start, you can be just comfortable seated. So however that is for you, legs crossed or on a chair. And we're going to do some breath work and centering here.
Yeah, I need that. I need the cushion.
Yeah, and just sit with your hips elevated. And let's see. I'm gonna mute everybody. So if you need to say anything, just unmute yourself. Okay. So again, for this first bit, you don't have to have your legs crossed, just whatever's comfortable. Maybe just kind of shift your weight in whatever way works for the position you're in. Just kind of get a sense of how you feel tonight through your body. Just feel the weight shifting from maybe right to left, from sit bone to sit bone. And also check in with your breath, see how that feels. And any other kind of movements just to release any initial tension from the body. So if you want to lift the shoulders and squeeze, or you want to get some movement through the neck, all of that is good. Just nothing in particular, just kind of letting the body dictate what it might want. And then when you feel a little more relaxed and settled in your spot, you can just begin to turn your attention towards this moment and being fully present. And again, tune to the breath and just note the natural rhythm of the breath. And how the body moves with the breath. And if the body responds by wanting to take a deeper breath or even a yawn, just let that happen and notice how that feels. And begin to allow a heaviness through the lower body. So releasing any tension around the legs. And maybe finding more of a plumb line through the center of the body that you can sit a little taller around. And see with each breath, if you can, with each inhale in particular, if you can bring in the breath and move into some of the tight places. So maybe even between each rib, feeling that breath kind of stretching and expanding. Maybe feeling more of the chest opening wide to the front. Maybe feeling even the back body and the back ribs moving towards the back of the body with the breath. And then what we're going to do, I'll explain it first and then you can try it. You're going to exhale all the breath from your lungs. And when you get to the bottom of the exhale, you're going to exhale 3 quick more times. So it'll sound like this. So in that extra release of breath, your abdomen kind of comes in and pumps a little bit. And then just breathe in and fill the lungs. And when you feel full, then you're going to take 3 little quick sniffs at the top of the inhale. So, and hold slightly and then release. Exhale all the way to the bottom. And then exhale 3 quick breaths out. Then inhale. At the top of the breath, 3 quick intakes. Hold and release. And so let me just check and make sure that's making sense. If you would give me a thumbs up, then I know that it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, you can kind of do a, I'm not sure. Okay, good. Okay. Got it. Thank you. Okay, so we're just going to breathe that way for a couple of minutes. And I want to make sure that you're not over efforting. It should feel really gentle, even with the little extra exhalations and inhalations. So don't force anything. And then if you notice any discomfort at any point, just return to natural breathing. And again, we're going to do this for about 2 minutes. Okay, so just at your own pace, and each time 3 sniffs at the bottom and 3 sniffs at the top. And it's important to really take your time. Each time, make sure you get fully to the bottom or fully to the top before you do the extra little 3. And we'll go for about 25 more seconds. And then just return to a natural breath when you feel like you're in a good place to do so. And just note if there's any change in sensation or state of mind or being. Okay, so for the first position that we're going to be in with the legs, one foot is going to be drawn in towards the buttocks. The other knee will be standing, or the foot will be standing. So it doesn't matter if you're left or right. And if you need to sit more at the edge of whatever you're on so that you feel nice and tall. And then what we're going to do is with the crook of our elbow, we're going to wrap around the knee with the same arm. And then just kind of grab your wrist. And just note where you might be feeling that, if anywhere. This might feel really gentle and no big deal, or it might feel quite uncomfortable. So just notice for yourself. And continue to try to draw the knee in towards the chest and to sit up taller through the spine. And if you notice discomfort growing in the spine, just you can relax for a moment. And then try again just to draw with the elbow, draw that knee towards the chest and sit up a little taller. And so there's a little bit of a twist in the upper body, because in order for the knee to hold on, elbow to hold on to the knee, you kind of have to turn away from the knee with the shoulders. So it's a very gentle twist. And take a deep breath here. Good. And then relax, release the knee. And we'll switch legs. So one knee comes in towards the buttocks. The other foot stands. And where you stand the foot will change the intensity. So if you have the knee further out from the body versus if you have it close, just really follow what your needs are. Okay, extending the arm and wrapping the elbow around the knee. Holding the wrist. And then just working on drawing the trunk or the belly towards the thigh and the thigh towards the trunk. Sitting up tall. And again, just trying to, go in and try to sit up even taller this time. And really feel grounded through that supporting foot, as if you could, if you needed to, you could stand up. Not that you have to, but so that you feel as if there's real connection there through the foot. Deep breath. And release back. Okay, I'm going to put this down because I think it makes it easier to see what my legs are doing instead of the dark on dark. Okay, so we're going to go back to the first side. So bringing the foot in, standing the other leg. And again, just even this can be, quite an experience or sensation. That knee might want to fall out. It might be difficult to bring it up straight, so just notice those things. And you can even just kind of open and close the leg and feel the movement in the hip. Now what we're going to do next is going to require you to really pay attention to your body and not do any more than's comfortable for you, but I'm going to show you a progression of things you can do. So the first thing, this would be the first thing actually, is just kind of moving the thigh open and closed. If that's comfortable and you're feeling, loose enough in that joint, then again, you'll want to take the elbow to the knee and then lift that foot off the ground. So instead of having the foot on the ground now, I'm holding that off the ground. And if you need to support yourself and lean back on your hand to keep your back straight, that's fine. Okay. And so this would be part 2. Now, if this is comfortable for you and you want a little more, then the next thing would be grabbing hold of the foot with the other hand, if you're not using it to support yourself, and kind of cradle the arm, or the leg rather, cradle the leg, and just holding it is fine. If you can't hold it without being relaxed enough, then just go back to the one before, which is simply holding it here. If you can hold it like this, then just start to rock a little. And try to be aware of your lower back, because the tendency, of course, is to round in order to grab everything and kind of be weak through the core. And we want to sit up tall and use the core. And again, leaning back is fine. There's a lot of different ways to do this. For instance, because if I wanted to kind of ground myself with that back hand, then I could just hold my foot instead of have my elbow around. So you could try that too. Okay, let's relax that side. Just sit for a moment and just notice any sensations through that hip joint, the thigh, anywhere else, the back. And also, if you need to stretch out the legs and give them a shake, feel free to do that. Okay, so we'll go to the other side now. So we start just by standing again with the foot on the ground, and then just opening and closing that thigh. Just feeling how that hip bone is moving in its socket. And then either staying there, or if you want a little more, starting to pick that foot off the ground. And or using your hand to brace yourself back. And again, it's always drawing that trunk towards the thigh. That's what gets you the length through the spine, is drawing those two things together. And if that's comfortable, then you can go to the next stage of wrapping your arm around the knee and grabbing hold of your feet with the other hand, or the foot rather. And you can hold this or you can rock, so whatever works for you. Or if you need to support yourself, just hold your leg with one hand. And this is a lot of work, especially to sit up. So if you're feeling it like it's a lot of work, you're right, it is. Okay, and then you can relax that side. Okay, we've got a little bit more to do. So we're going to keep repeating kind of the same things, but adding a little bit more each time. Okay, so again, standing the first side. Go ahead and grab hold of the inside of your toes. So along the big toe side of your foot. And again, just sitting up nice and tall, bringing the chest through the arms forward. Okay, now we're going to do a baby pose from here. And so if you can lift that leg, that would be the next thing. Okay. And you can explore for yourself how extended that leg can become. So you can bring it in and you can bring it out. Or just hold it if that's all that's comfortable. If you feel like you're not getting a very good leverage, you could even bring your upper body down to the side a little bit and just rest, and that will maybe give you some more space. I'm on my forearm and the elbow's right under my shoulder. And check in with your breath. Make sure you're still breathing through all of this. And then you can relax on that side. Take a deep breath in between before we switch. And the second side might be quite different. So we start in our 1 foot in, 1 foot standing. We're going to grab hold of the inside of the foot and really allow your foot first. Just keep your foot on the ground to start, Ian. You're very gung-ho. Go ahead and let your foot press your hand towards the ground so you can really feel that connection to foot and ground. And the hand is on the inside of the toes. Even my elbow's on the inside of my knee as well, as opposed to outside. It's on the inside. There you go. Mm-hmm. So just working to bring the thigh towards the chest, sitting up tall. And then if you can, lifting into a seated baby pose with that one leg. And then just explore however you did on the other side with opening and closing the leg or leaning off to the floor if that's something you want to do. This side is much easier for me, so you might find too that one side was easier. Make sure you're breathing. Good, and then relaxing back towards the center. If you need to shake out your legs, feel free to do that. Okay, we're going to be in this particular sitting position for just a little bit more. So now what I'd like you to do is you're going to open one leg out to the side. So the leg that otherwise would have been like standing in front, just open it to the side. You're still on your support, whatever that support is, to raise your hips. And you might feel like you're kind of slightly rolling off it because the pelvis has to tip forward a little bit to open the leg. And this might be enough for you. You might be feeling it on the inner thigh, especially if you flex that foot, make it active. And if you're not feeling a lot of sensation, then the next thing to add would just be to start walking your hand down your leg and just stop wherever you need to. So my chest is still front. I'm not twisting through the shoulders or anything. I'm just going straight down at the side. And so just notice where you're feeling this, where in the side body, where in the leg. And if you're not getting a lot of sensation, the next thing you could do is raise this back hand. And you can even bring it over the body towards that leg, which would be even more depth of stretch. So just wherever it's not too much for you. And then just try to breathe and relax as much as you can. If you're not relaxed, if you're not breathing, then just pull back so it's more comfortable. Take maybe 3 deep breaths here. And then on the next inhalation, you can reach up and back over. And then take that leg in. Take a moment to just sit in a neutral position before we extend the other leg. And when you're ready, extend the other leg. So keeping that foot active and pressing the toes back towards the shin. And as long as that's comfortable, then you can start to walk the hand down the leg, just letting it slide. And note when you start to feel it through the opposite side body. And letting the chest still open forward. The back shoulder needs to keep opening towards the back. And it might feel quite intense and enough here, so you can stay. If you feel like you need more, then you can start to add the arm in varying degrees. And take your time to get there too. You don't have to go from 0 to 100 right away. You can go in stages. And 3 deep breaths. And then on your next inhalation, reaching up to come up. Whew. Okay. We're going to move into a cobbler's pose, so just bringing the soles of the feet together. And here is one of the places where if you want to be against the wall and feel the support of the wall behind you, you're welcome to do that if that's more comfortable. Or just, it could be a couch or your bed. And just as long as you can comfortably reach your feet, just start to work the soles of your feet. Notice where you might have any sore spots or tender spots. And notice how you are touching your feet. Are you doing it mechanically, or are you doing it with tenderness like you would to someone you were giving a massage to? Make sure you get not just the bottoms of your feet, but along the bones and the top of the foot as well. And you could even work up the leg, the shins. And then you're welcome to stay as you are. If you would like to go into more of a forward fold over the cobbler's pose, feel free. If it's uncomfortable to have your legs open, you can do a forward fold with your legs straight if you prefer. So just deep breathing here. Just breathe and relax. Try to release tension. Feel that rise and fall of the body with the breath in and out. And then coming back, just walking your hands back. And for those of us who are in cobblers, go ahead and straighten your legs and give them a shake. If you already had straight legs, then just give them a shake. And you can rock them back and forth too. Okay, very good. Let's come on to all fours. So as you get here, first just feel the ground beneath you, kind of like a little cat. Try to relax or release any tension through the joints. Be soft through the joints rather than pushing or locking through them. And just kind of shift your weight from right knee to left knee a little bit. Did a lot of work with the hip there, so it might feel tender. And then just as it feels natural to you, just start to make some articulations through the back. And you might have your toes bent back, you might have your feet flat, it's up to you. And then you can also do some C curves or anything else that feels good through the back. And if you are making C curves, remember to check and see, like, because there's two ways to do it. If you turn your head to look behind you, do your hips move in the opposite direction, or do they come back to meet your head? So there's two different ways, and you can try them both. Okay, when you come more to a neutral place again, I'm going to have you lift one hand and place it on the small of your back. So to do this, you have to be really quite strong through your supporting arm, but you should try to feel equal weight through the knees and that third limb. So equal weight on each limb. And just see if you can open the chest, kind of rotate that shoulder back in its socket. It's almost like that shoulder blade goes in towards the spine. The chest opens forward a little bit. And release. And then go same thing to the other side. Stay connected to your core here. Shoulder blade moves toward the spine. Shoulder rolls back. Chest opens forward. Head is pressing into the space right above it so that you feel long through your neck. Good, and release. Just do that one more time to each side at your own pace. Good, and then come on down to your forearms. So we have kind of like a little triangle with our hands together. The elbows are just about under the shoulders though. Go ahead and extend one leg back behind you and just pulse through the calf. So the toes are connected to the ground and you're getting a little bit of stretch through the calf. You can rock your weight forward and back a little bit. The whole body moves. And then switch to the other leg. Good, bring that leg in and go ahead and rest your head right in the collection of your hands, your palms. So we don't want to put full weight on the head, we just want to rest the head gently in the palms of the hands. So the forehead touches the floor lightly. Begin to walk the knees in towards the elbows. Try not to increase the weight on the head. So we're just coming into more of a tuck, more of a child's pose kind of position. However, I'm going to invite you, if it's comfortable, tuck your toes back. And with your head resting lightly on your hands, press your elbows down into the floor, your toes down into the floor, and see if you can lift your pelvis into the air by the tailbone. So this is kind of a, well, it's called dolphin pose. A lot like downward dog, but we're on our forearms. You don't have to hold it. You can come up and down and build some strength over time. The one thing you want to make sure is that you're not collapsing through your shoulders and falling through them. You want to stay nice and grounded through your elbows, which keeps your shoulders strong. Good, and then you can rest into a child's pose of whatever variety feels good for you. And just use this time to breathe and relax. So we're going to walk our hands over to the left and give a little bit of a side reach through the child's pose. So it's just kind of a shifting of weight. Everything kind of moves off to one side. Back to the center, and then off to the right. And then back to the center. Okay, tucking your toes under again. And then pushing yourself into a toe bend. So we're in a squat, toes are bent. And from here, we're just going to straighten the legs and go into a forward fold. So you can keep the legs really bent. And keep that belly towards the thighs. Reach the left arm to the right ankle. The free arm can rest somewhere on the leg, or you can open it up towards the ceiling. It's up to you. So I have a bend in the knee that I'm moving away from. Breathe. And it's fine just to have your hand on your thigh or somewhere on the leg. And then switch directions. So bring the right hand to the left ankle. And then if you can open that arm out, feel free. Let the right leg bend deeply. back down to center. Let's come to a standing position by first coming into a nice deep squat. So the spine is parallel to the ground, the knees nice and bent. And then just push yourself up from there. Whew. Okay. So any kind of shaking out you need to do of anything? And let's find our mountain pose here for a moment. So spreading the toes, really feeling whatever surface is under you that you can kind of collect with your toes. Feeling the relationship between the bones of the feet and the ankles. Feeling the relationship of the ankles to the knees. And the knees back to the hips. The hips in the pelvis. With a tension on the lower back, letting it drop downward. And then the whole spine and the length of the spine through the crown of the head reaching into the space above. And the shoulders resting gently off the collarbone. The relationship of shoulder to elbow, elbow to wrist, wrist to fingers. Feeling space, if you can imagine space between all the joints. Maybe that creates a shift in how you're standing or how the weight's distributed, what muscles you might be using. Let's widen the stance of the feet now for about 2.5 or 3 feet apart. The toes are still facing forward, and we'll have the hands on the hips. Take a moment here to see what you feel through your arms as you stand this way. Is there any line of fascia tension that you can feel? I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. And then when you're ready, coming over with a flat back, what I want you to do first, actually, before that, kind of bounce on your toes a little bit so you can feel some lightness through your heels. And then start to come forward with a flat back, keeping your weight kind of light through the heels. It's more on the toes. At any point your back needs some support, you can place your hands on your thighs. And then if you can come to the floor, go ahead and bring your hands to the floor. So just feeling the back line of fascia lengthening. Try not locking the knees. Let them be slightly bent. Continue the thought of lengthening the spine out straight ahead through the crown of the head. Good. Plant one hand right underneath your heart and lift the other elbow, twisting slightly back. And then releasing, switching hands under heart, lifting the other elbow to the side, and just go back and forth. We're going to do that 2 or 3 times to each side at your own pace. And, you know, if you're not all the way down to the floor, if you have your hands on your thighs, then it's just the same thing. You're kind of anchoring against your thigh and then twisting with the upper body. So it can be done either way. You don't have to have your hands on the ground. And if you feel you're getting enough sensation, just continue. If you want to open that hand towards the ceiling for a little bit more extension, that's fine too. You can also lean into the side you're twisting by straightening the distant leg. So just completing that for yourself wherever you are. And when you're ready, you can roll back up to a standing position and bring your feet together. Or shake them out if you need to. Good. So I'm going to do a little bit of upper body work and then we'll come down to the ground. So again, standing in your Tadasana, your mountain pose. I think we did this last week where I had you do eagle arms. So you can either cross your arms like that or just cross shoulder to shoulder, whatever works. And what I want you to do, no matter whether you're like this, I want you to try as best you can to make circles by lifting and just drawing circles as if with your elbows. And so if you're like this, you would be doing it this way. Might be easier this way. And you can also just make it very organic. You know, if there's a place like you feel like you want to stretch into through the back, as you move, you find things that you can reach for the first time. Feel free to go into those. And when you're finished there, you can uncross your hands. And then loop the other way. Making little circles. Might be very, almost imperceptible movement to someone who's watching. And then release. And let's take a deep breath in. Exhale. And kind of collapse. So breathe in, arms overhead, reach. Inhale. And then when you exhale, just kind of collapse. Again. Collapse. And on this next collapse, you'll go all the way to the ground. Okay, come onto your back, please. So let's start with the knees or the feet about mat width apart and just let the knees fall in towards the center. And just allow your body to settle into this new position. We did a lot of seated work tonight, so it can feel especially nice now to be on your back. Just notice all those places of contact between your body and the floor. And feel each moment of release through the various parts of the body that have been holding you up till now. Just breathing and softening. Now this is where, if you have a chair or you can be against a wall, that I invite you to move if you'd like. You don't have to. You can stay where you are if you prefer. But if you do have a wall or the chair and you can get yourself up against it. So if you have the chair, you would just have your legs on the chair with the calves resting on the seat. Otherwise, if you're at the wall, you'll swing your legs up the surface of the wall. So try to scoot your bottom as close to the wall as you can, or as close to the legs of the chair as you can. Just relax. You can open the arms out or rest them on your chest. Even have them overhead if that feels good. Just breathe now and surrender. Surrender the weight of your legs to the wall. Don't hold them up. Let the chair take them. Let everything that's against the floor rest downward. Nice full breaths. Double check that your chin is parallel to the ground. You're not kind of jutting the chin towards the ceiling, nor are you closing off the throat by bringing the chin towards the chest. Just a nice neutral head parallel or in the line with the floor. And you can always put something under your head if you need to. And so you can just rest here still. If you want to, you can point and flex your feet. Might be a little harder if you're on the chair. And then you can also, if you want to, just let your heels be heavy if you're against the wall. And then just open one leg by tracing a quarter moon, letting that leg open and then back. If you're in the chair, you can do this, but you would just drop the leg bent off to the side and then back. But you can be still if you want to. This is just to Okay, so we've got just a few minutes left for Savasana. If you'd like to stay with your legs up the wall, that's perfectly fine. It's a really good Shavasana. It's just a different type. And if you want to be flat, then just come on down to your mat and grab a blankie or anything else you need to be comfy. Just surrendering to stillness and silence. So beginning to gently move fingers and toes again. Taking some deep breaths. Bringing larger movements to the body. And just taking 30 seconds or so for yourself. Okay. So let's sign out or sing out, tune out with Om Shanti. Let's rub the hands together. And bring them to the chest. Take a deep breath and then let go when you need to. Breathing into tune out. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Om peace. Thank you.
Thank you.